3-6 matchup, one that should be very near and dear to your heart. Two of your former teams in Tigres and Puebla. Herc, who you got advancing from that quarterfinal?
I have Tigres, the defending champions, by the way. Listen, Tigres is just that team when it comes to Liguillas, when it comes to a playoff format. They tried and proven. If you think about the most dominant team in the last decade, it's Tigres. I'd even go as far as to say the last 14, 15 years, they've been that team. If you think about performers in the playoff system, La Liguilla, it's Andre Pierre Gignac, their leading goal scorer, who's, I believe, too shy of being the all-time leading goal scorer in the playoff format in Mexico. If you think about the all-time winners goalkeepers in that playoff format, well, they got him too, Nahuel Guzman. They've just got the spine, they've got the playmakers, they got the player of the moment, if you will, in that type of setting. And Puebla's a team that, it's a very humble team. They don't have that star power. They can try to grind and work and try to defend as much as they can, but at some point that talent takes over, and I do think Tigres is the more talented team.
Herc, Andre Pierre Gignac training off to the side. If he can't go, Tigres good enough to win without him?
Yeah, because his backup was a Golden Boot winner, not last season, but the season before. He's that good of a player. He's in prime age. He's a finisher, much like Andre Pierre Gignac. Ibanez is a player that's going to finish anything he has in front of him. I think they're good to go, and we've not even seen their best player from last Liguilla edition, that championship run, their MVP, which is Sebastian Cordova, who's been injured pretty much all season, finally healthy. I think a healthy Sebastian Cordova and a motivated Andre Pierre Gignac or Ibanez gives them a shot at this title again.
Puebla just one loss over the last couple months, so they come in hot. What about Rayados against San Luis? That's a 2-7. Herc, who do you got advancing there?
You know, I'm going to the surprise here in San Luis. It's not going to be a surprise for me, to be honest, because a year ago, 1 year ago, they knocked out Monterrey in the playoffs. They knocked out Monterrey in the Liguilla, playing the same brand that they play today. You know, very compact,
here we
defensive, in transition. And if we've learned anything from Monterrey is they are the perennial, I will let you down. This is the richest roster in all of Liga MX, star power all over the place, yet they can't put it together. Tano Ortiz, the guy that they stole from Club America, their coach, has not put it together with his team. If you look at the teams, 1 through 8, in this Liguilla, the only team that they've beaten, the only team 1 through 8 that they have beaten is Pumas, a 1-0 victory. In fact, if you go past the last 10 games that they've had, they've only beaten Pumas that are in the 1 through 8. So this is a team right now in Monterrey that may have the star power, but when it comes to this playoff structure, the playoff time, they can't quite put it together.
All right. I'm looking at the form here. Since Rayados lost that 3-0 to América, right? They've played 4 games. They're 3-0-1. They haven't conceded a single goal. So defensively, they're doing
Who'd they play?
quite
Who'd they
well.
play in those games? Santos, Querétaro,
yes,
Necaxa,
it was a lot of teams
Pachuca.
either outside the playoffs
they're not
or
even in the
fighting for
playoffs
play-in.
right now.
Fighting for play-in, right. San Luis wasn't that good, though, before the play-in. They went 5 straight without a win, at the end of the season. So neither team really, I don't think, comes in hot. What's the latest on Canales? He might be back for the semifinals, but probably not here for the quarterfinals, and that's a big miss for Rayados.
He's training, but he's been gone for quite some time. I could argue he's not been their most important player, even when he's been healthy, because if you take out the goals that he scored that are penalty kicks, how many goals has he scored? 1?
Yeah, and the truth is, what you say is important. When he comes back, he will be maybe at half fitness. What can you expect to get out of him? And again, the latest reports are he won't be ready at least till the semifinals, so it does appear that he trained today. All right, América León, Herc. América León, tell me I don't have to sweat this one out.
I don't think you have to sweat this one out. Though León has a very favorable account or set of results against América when it comes to the playoff structure. That said, this León is not the León of old. This León team under Nicolás Larcamón, their head coach, who's been very underwhelming, isn't the same team that beat LAFC in the CONCACAF Champions League final in that 2-legged affair that really beat them. This team is hot and cold, but never really hot enough for you to believe in them. The way they try to defend, I don't think they can keep up with a team like América, who's the best offensive team in the league, who's going to have Diego Valdez, a potential MVP candidate coming back from fitness issues, Julián Quiñones, who every day with América looks better, Henry Martín, who's finally fit playing at the 9 position. And you mentioned Luis Malagón when we spoke about Mexico in the A segment. This is a player that gets confident every single time he's been called upon. He's even more confident. And now in Liguilla, he'll be called upon again because León has a potent attack, but they're just not good enough to defend a team like América.
Yeah, I hope you're right. There's some part of me as an Americanista that's nervous here. You look at that roster on León, you got guys like Ángel Mena, you got Diente López, you got Federico Viñas, La Ley del Ex, right? We know he's a former América player, a very good one. I was kind of sad to see him leave. The one concern for me here, Herc, is the time. It's been 18 days since América played Tigres. And if you remember that game, it almost felt like a little bit of a dead rubber, right? Both teams very solid. So the last real competitive game that América had was 25 days ago when they played Xolos.
That goes against you as well, though, if you're León. León's going to be playing the third game in, 9-10 days with no Fidel Ambriz, who got red carded for that reckless challenge, and Romero, the guy who put his head in the way of Precado's potential goal. He's in doubt as well with a concussion. So remains to be seen if they will have those two players available for these two legs.
All right, let's get to the last of the 4 quarterfinals and probably the toughest one to pick. I don't know. Pumas against Chivas. It's 4 versus 5. Herc, who you got?
Yeah, let's set the scene real quick, okay? Because it doesn't matter who wins this game. Let's say América beats León. It's going to be a Clásico for América in the next round, in the semifinal. It'll be Clásico Joven versus Pumas or Clásico Nacional versus Chivas. And if you recall, and I know you do because you're Americanista, who knocked out América last Liguilla?
Yeah, I'm not sized for it. I'm not sized for a Chivas rematch.
Now, can you tell me very quickly who hates Club América and coaches one of these two teams?
Turco Mohamed.
Mohamed. So either way,
ex-América coach took him to a title and then was shoved out the door.
It's a pick'em game right here. I will go with Pumas, but I firmly believe either team, that's the end of the road for América. It's a Clásico on that end, and I do believe in case Monterrey, which I don't think they'll get out, but in case they get out, it's another Clásico on the other end, much like we had last season.
I just wonder from a Chivas perspective, like, who's going to get you your goals?
Right.
Who's gonna score for you? Who's your threat even? Like, forget scoring goals, creating goals. Is it Alexis Vega? Is that your best bet? I mean, if you're
Victor
Pumas,
Guzman,
you've got Chino Huerta.
Alvarado.
Victor Guzman is your best bet for goals if you're
I think
Chivas?
Piojo Alvarado is your best bet, if I'm being honest.
Oh, okay. I like Pumas bets better. I like a Dineno. I like a Salvio. I like a Chino Huerta. I think those guys are more likely to produce on a day than Chivas. I wouldn't be surprised, Herc, if this is the end of Veljko Paunovic. You agree with me there? You think these 2 games might be the end of him in Liga MX?
Only if he wants to. I think he's done enough with Chivas to stay there. Listen, man, back-to-back, direct finishes. Last year it was top 4. This year is top 6, which is a direct finish. You got to remember where Chivas was before Veljko Paunovic. And Chivas was a perennial 9th place finisher. They were in the play-in game, and usually in that play-in game they would lose to they would lose to Puebla. That's what happened for this team. I think people forget that Veljko Paunovic, for as dysfunctional things may have been or have been, he changed that the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.